If you're listening to Peel the Onion, chances are you're already questioning the layers of health, identity, and the systems we've been conditioned to live within. I'm someone who's deeply passionate about true health, and true health is what I refer to as combining physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, the multi-dimensionality of us. Through my training in psychology and my work in the energetic realms, I support people to return to their most authentic, embodied, enlivened, and enlivened self. And one of the most overlooked foundations of that, well, I've learned that's water. I was already a water snob when I discovered Kangen water, but this took hydration to another level. Alkalized, antioxidant rich water that genuinely supports the body and vitality. If you feel the call to upgrade your health, this might be your next layer to peel. Check out the link in the show notes to get in contact with me. Hey guys, this is Olivia, a Minisode today that I'm very keen to share with you all has been something that's close to my heart and that I've been moving through and now on the other end of is the shedding. It's the dropping away of what is old and what is no longer needed in my life, whether that's parts of myself that keep me comfortable and blocked in a way, whether it's relationships, friendships that are outdated that no longer nourish me and support me in the way I need for where I am and who I am. Or even hobbies and places that once gave me joy but no longer refuel me in the same way. This is all part of shedding and needing to turn a page. The wonderful and beautiful thing I've learnt about being a human is this this readiness or openness for change and allowing this to happen, the shedding isn't always as smooth as we may hope it to be. Personally, I have really been focusing on strengthening this muscle to move through things with more swiftness and ease. And I know over the years, I have definitely improved on strengthening my ability to let go at a more rapid pace, one with less struggle, where the younger me definitely would hold on a lot tighter and resist life. And just to hover over what resisting looks like, it really is playing that victim card, blaming others. It's pushing against life. It's questioning why and noticing in terms of the emotional body, frustration and anger and rage, but letting that be there for a while because those emotions actually are healthy to feel, but they need to move through quickly, and naturally they do if we allow them. But it's when we cling to things out of resisting, out of that point of resistance because of change coming, when our mind isn't ready to let go, that's where real struggle comes in. And I've seen that personally with how my body then collapses. I may get a cold or I'm forced to rest so my body and spirit and mind can shed in that way of doing less, literally being forced to slow down. Or it's, and a question that I like to keep in the back of my mind is asking, where am I resisting life? Firstly, am I resisting life? And this is where the mind is really powerful to create stories and tell you this and that and create these illusion lies to keep you stuck in an old way of being, in an old vibration. That's that's a form of resistance. But once you get above that or through it and you come back to being the witness, come back to noticing these patterns and habits, perhaps maybe through feeling drained all the time and realizing, hold on, I'm not feeling as vital and radiant. Something's really zapping me here. And finding where that zap is, that's a great way I catch old habits creeping in. But it may also play out in how you're showing up with others in life, how activated or triggered you've been feeling, which is a form of resistance. It may be you experience a trigger by a friend and how they've behaved in something you did not expect. And then you ruminate, which is overthinking about the situation, and then you start to turn against yourself, thinking you've done something wrong. You need to change when actually there's nothing to do with how you've responded. And I see this play out very often. But then it's coming back and choosing your higher self, the higher part of you in this shedding, in this letting go. And this can happen and does, particularly at this time on earth. It's happening rapidly. A lot of the time we aren't conscious of it, which is great. You don't need to be conscious of everything, and thank goodness we're not, because that would just be so exhausting to know everything that's shedding or changing or transforming. You don't need to know. That's in the hands of Source. But anchoring back into what truly matters to you in your heart in that moment. So this is a beautiful technique I like to practice in coming back to the now moment, and it's in acceptance commitment therapy. It's called dropping the anchor, and in that moment you're becoming present, and then you're also aligning with your heart and what brings you joy, which is your radiance, and that naturally elevates your vibration. Again, it's not bypassing what's really happening and noticing when you may need to sit in the dumps and then get yourself back out of it. It's really all a dance and a rhythm that life gifts us with in every passing moment. And when challenges do come, it's doing your best to keep an open mind and keep a devoted heart in the faith that everything is working out as it needs to and for the best, which is wild when you think of horrible things that happen or if loved ones are suffering. It is very tricky at times to let the mind expand in that way when you're in a human body, because you feel perhaps pain of others and you're feeling the pinch from if a loved one is suffering and you live with them. But again, it's a constant practice of rising above that. It's choosing to be in faith of a higher ground, a higher power, that all is as it needs to be. And one of my beautiful best friends recently reminded me when I shared an undercurrent of parts of me wanting to hold on to the old identity of me, and coming up to being a mum for 8 months soon, it's feels like I'm being asked again to shed what needs to shed without knowing fully, but there has been this, yeah, simmer beneath the surface within me that's required me to sit there and just notice and feel and allow the feelings to pass through. So I've really been intentional with creating my own space, asking for help from those around me so I can have that one-on-one time with myself, with nature, with Source and my guides, to clean out and to let go. And what my best friend reminded me was a quote I shared with her a while ago around letting go of the branch, imagining you're holding on so tight onto this tree, this branch that's over a river, a streaming, beautiful, healthy, clean, crystal clear water that's flowing into the ocean. And the resistance and the not wanting to let go of old parts of you in your life is really holding on to that branch above the river, not wanting to let go. But what helped me in that moment was remembering, right, let go the littlest parts that may be holding on to this branch. even my cells. Just drop away like that. Drop into the water. Let yourself be taken. Let yourself be held. Even if it's so scary, because yes, the unknown can be very scary to the human mind. But again, like the more you create space with yourself, with your team, it may seem impossible, but you can start by a few minutes a day, just step by step to carve out that relationship with yourself and your guides to then be more held and more supported, because you don't need to do it all on your own, and you're not. But it comes back to choosing consciously how you want to move through challenges. If you do want to resist them, or if you do want to be more in flow with life, well, that is my reflection back to you. And that's what's helped me beautifully to be like the river. That's all for today's Minisode. Thank you for tuning in, and catch you all soon. Bye.